Good afternoon and welcome to Carnation Crafts. We're live in the Carnation Crafts studio and as always it's lovely to have your company. We launched yesterday with a brand new launch called Ponderance Place. That's our new one for 2023. It just went nuts, which we expected obviously. It's incredibly beautiful. It is very it's kind of what I would say is traditional carnation. It goes back and it works with all the collections that you've had in the past, certainly with things like Fantastic Forest. It will go with all of those collections. The number for this one is 230101. You'll find the collection on the Carnation Crafts website, which is www.carnationcrafts.co.uk. We've got a really special show price for you today, which is £98.99. However, in order to get that price, you do have to use a code that Carnation have given us for this collection. The code for that is PPCC10. PPCC10. You have to do it in capital letters and you do it at the checkout. It says, have you got a voucher code? You pop it into there and it will apply that discount for you. That will work for anything for Ponderance Place. So it will include your perfect papers and it will include the slate nested dies, which we'll talk about in a little while as well. But Ponderance Place and all of its beautifulness. So we have got your Puddle Buddies, which are all your little animals. We're going to go through the boards. You will see the full collection. We've got Leafy Hollow, which is the little house. And then we have got Within the Reeds card shape. That's going to be your main card shape for this whole collection. Carnation nearly always give us a big carnation card base, and that's the one here. Next to it, we've got Free Flowing, which is your beautiful water and your pot at the bottom with a little tap. Underneath, we've got Perfect Form, which is the Carnation mouse. Then we've got your Rolling Rockery, which is the gorgeous big rocks that you can use for decoupage. They're your grounding device. They're going to make everything make sense. Then you've got your Flourish of Swallows, which are just beautiful. Your pots and pails, which are buckets. It's all the things that the little animals can float in. And so you've got this gorgeous way of bringing like a storybook almost together, so you can just take it on a journey. It's very pretty, it's very beautiful, gorgeous artwork. Carnation Craft, whenever they build their collections, they start from a single sketch. That sketch then gets made into dies. So it gets painted, it's got the full artwork, it's all done in-house. That we have a creative director called Nick. He has a team as well of artists and they create everything in-house. That then gets to you at home. That artwork is free to you. So you go to the Carnation Crafts website. Again, it's www.carnationcrafts.co.uk. There is a banner menu at the top. One of the options is downloads. You click onto that and you go to free downloads. And when you click on that, on the right hand side, there is a box available to you to type in the name of any collection. This one obviously would be Ponderance Place. When you click it, all of your PDFs will appear. You can add those to your basket and you can go through the checkout process. You'll find free backing papers, you'll find free inserts and your free artwork for the collection as well. They're known as vignettes. So if you hear about us talking about vignettes, that's what we're discussing. It's the artwork. And you just print them out using Adobe and you obviously pop your dies on top, you put them through your machine and that cuts them. Now you are best using ProPrint paper for that. We'll go through all of that as the show goes on and we'll give you some tips and tricks on how to use it. But again, the code is 230101. That's Ponderance Place. Please do use the code that you see just above me here, PPCC10. That's going to give you a 10% discount and it gives you your best show price today of £98.99, and at checkout you'll find various different ways of paying that'll break those payments into smaller chunks for you. How does that look when it comes into actual cards? Well, we've got some absolute stunners from the DT team. This is Fiona Abbott's and it uses those slates that we will talk about in a little while and some of those elements. So you've got the gorgeous frogs there, you've got a lovely way of using the florals there as a little hat for that frog. You've got the rocks behind and the florals that come with Within the Reeds card shape. So it all merges together and it all works. So absolutely gorgeous. Have a look at a couple more and then we will start to have a look at some demos. So this is a Pam Simpson card. Thank you to the DT team. You are amazing. Enjoy your day. So there's Free Flowing. You've got the little animals at the bottom. Some of the reeds there from the Within the Reeds card shape. And then you've got those swallows. So really, really beautiful. And then one more because it's very sweet. So this one is Barbara Treadwell's. Absolutely gorgeous. And if you just look in the top corner here, the roof of that little house, the Leafy Hollow, has been used as a corner element for the card, which is a brilliant idea. you've got the little chick at the bottom, the little duck, and then you've got that water flow in. So really, really beautiful collection. You can see the detail in the artwork. You can see how crisp and clear and clean that is. The artwork for Carnation is exceptional. In the UK, you will get free UK P&P because it's over £50, so you don't need to pay a penny for that. Lots of people who ordered yesterday have already got it, and they will be playing with it today, which is really exciting. If you order it today, make sure you get those downloads downloaded today, and they'll be ready for you to cut tomorrow, which is always nice to know. International shoppers, you have a bit of a variation to the UK ones. Yours is £4.95 shipping and handling for the whole collection to get to you, so it's kept very, very low. But if you want to add in your perfect papers, and we will come to that in a minute, that'll be £14.95. That incorporates both the papers and your full collection at the same time, obviously. And so it just keeps it low price for you. That's shipped worldwide. It's not just to the US, it is across the board. So I think we're going to have a look at a demo. Well, we're going to have a look at the boards first, then we'll get to demo. So we'll have a quick flick through the boards, let you see what you're getting, and then we'll go and see Sharon's demos. Miss Sharon.
Yes, so let's start with these Puddle Buddies. And we've got our fabulous little characters. We've got a little frog. I can't remember all the names. Jeremy, Alan.
Everyone remembers Alan. And Norman.
Love Norman. These are just so cute. Look at the detail on them. The little frog, I mean, his little feet, that just makes me smile when I look at that. The colouring's beautiful, and they kind of tie in together. You've got the lovely purple colours in Alan that are on the frog as well. They all work really nicely together, and they're all designed to work obviously with the elements that are in the collection. So that's your Puddle Buddies.
You manage.
I will
be your
That's
assistant.
good, because I'm bound to throw them all over the floor. Now we've got our lovely little mouse in his little sort of vintage style bathing costume, which makes me smile. You've got your steps here, which are obviously the perfect platform for him to be jumping from. There's so many different ways that you can place him within the scene. You've got various elements of water. You've got the little buckets. You've got the free-flowing sort of waterfall type thing. So there's different ways that you can put him. As always with Carnation, when you download your vignettes, you can download them double-sided. So that means you can be flipping these and having them facing either direction, which is really cool. Equally, say he was peeping above the top of your card, the fact that he's double-sided means that you're not going to have a sort of white on the back, which is really good. If, like me, you do like to sometimes have elements sort of sticking over the top of your card. So that is our lovely little mouse. That one's called Perfect Form. This is free flowing. This is your lovely sort of waterfall element. It's a lovely copper tap with this lovely terracotta pot. This is great. Obviously the mouse works really well jumping into here. The artwork is amazing on this. This water, you can just picture it. You can almost hear the water running. If you want to add in glossy accents or something like that, that would really bring that to life. You've got mats and layers for this, so if you want to sort of make it stand out from the rest of your card, you can by putting it on a layer. And of course you can snip into this and use the flowers, and this lovely little sort of plank of wood can be used in so many different ways. I think you made a card yesterday where you had two of these, didn't you? Yeah. Kind of across a card.
Just to allow the snails to sit on,
which made a great... So don't think of it as just part of this composition. Snip into it and that's just a plank of wood, which is always quite a useful element. So that's free flowing. Now we've got our buckets and pails. It's not called buckets
Pots
and pails. Pots and pails. I wish I was better at remembering the names. This one's got some lovely moss detail on it. The shading, the artwork is just lovely. I mean, it really looks 3D, and that's just shading there. Very, very beautiful. So you've got your terracotta pot, you've got this lovely bucket, and of course the way this is designed, you can be tucking things in here. This lovely thin handle, the artwork's brilliant. You can be popping flowers in here. And then this one is perfect for that little duckling to be sitting in, and it's like a sort of copper pan. So that's your pots and pails. And now we've got this beautiful swallows, this lovely flourish of swallows. These are great to build your scene, but equally you can snip into these and use them. The way that they're sort of linked together, you can actually cut them apart and have them as individual birds if you want to, or you could just take a couple out if you want to just use 2 or 3. So that's a really, really pretty one. And then these are your rocks. These are for grounding. These are really, really useful. I love the fact that you've got 3 different sizes here, from an individual rock to then built up. Of course, you can flip these so they look different. So whatever sort of space you want to fill, these are perfect for grounding your little house and other elements. So these are just really useful. And of course, these are going to be useful, as Carla said earlier, with other collections. So very, very useful, that one. That's Rising Rockery. Now we've got our lovely little leafy hollow house. This is just so cute. We've got the little house with the leaves as the roof, the lovely little rain droplets on the top there. Then you've got your scene sort of around it. You've got your rocking chair that fits nicely next to it. You can decoupage this up. You can cut out elements. Carla did a card yesterday where she decoupaged up the roof and it looked stunning. So lots of different ways to use this. And it works really well with the rocks to sort of create, as you can see here in this card, you can build up your depth and your perspective, because just by placing a few elements in the front, you're pushing that house backwards and it builds depth of a scene. And I have to say, doesn't that slate the way that they've created a frame? This card is lovely. This is, who's this? Oh, Janine. Love the way she's used the 2 different slate colours there to build that up. That is
pretty as a picture,
really lovely. Yeah, love that. So that's Leafy Hollow. And then finally, this is your card shape within the reeds. This one can be your card base if you want it to. This card's just stunning, where she's used 2 side by side to create a really unusual card. So you've got your reeds and your fence. And of course, with the artwork being double-sided, if you want to, you can flip this. You can have 2 side by side to build up as she has there. You've also got your mats and layers. So you can see here with this card, you've got your mats and layers, which work perfectly with your perfect papers to create a background. And for your card shape, I love the way she put the bucket over the.
I know, isn't it great?
That's really cute, and that bucket's got such a lovely shape to it. It's really pretty. And then you've got all your florals. So these are great because when you look at the reeds, they've got a lovely brown and green colour scheme, but they're quite subtle. So if you want a pop of colour, these are going to work perfectly to just layer up, as you can see here, and really bring them to life and bring in some colour. So that is within the reeds. Oh, within the reeds. I'm questioning myself, and I was right.
Don't question yourself, Sharon. It's all good. So I'm just going to show you a couple of finished samples. Well, Miss Sharon is getting herself ready for a demo, just so you can see some different ideas with the collection and how it comes together, how you can use those perfect papers. While Miss Sharon is getting ready, I am just going to mention those perfect papers as well. First of all, to remember with Carnation Crafts, one of the things that happens is when they start to sketch these designs and colour them in, they start to pick out certain key colours, certain components from the collection, and they create what's called the perfect papers. Perfect papers are actually cardstock. It's 300 GSM. You get 6 colours, and like I say, they are all perfectly blended. So usually what you'll get is one darker and one paler going across the spectrum for them. So as here, you've got the blues, the greens, and the cream tones. However, each sheet will work with each other one. They play very well together. The perfect papers can be found on the Carnation Crafts website, and that is the number 230118. They have a show price today of $14.99. If you're buying those on their own, it is going to cost you $2.95 UK P&P, because that is under £50. It's anything that is over 50 on the Carnation website that's got free P&P. To me, it makes perfect sense, if you're putting the full collection in your basket now, to just put the papers in there as well, because you're going to be able to create perfect cards every time, because the backing papers are designed to blend and match with everything that you're making, which is why we have the term amongst the Carnation crafters and amongst the Carnation army that you cannot make a bad Carnation card. And it's true, because everything works together. So I'll just show you a couple of these, and then we're going to go to Miss Sharon. I'm going to try not to destroy the set. I love this one so much. We did have a look at this yesterday with Dave, but it is so sweet.
Oh yeah, that's the one with
so
the inside,
this is the one where you've got
yeah.
that kind of motion capture almost. So you've got all of this beautiful detailing with that little mouse, and he's ready to dive off that tap, and the little frog sitting in the pots. And then as we open it, there's Mouse. He's done his jump, and he's now about to jump into that little bucket or that little pan of water. So he's very, very excited, and he is indeed making a splash. So I love that one very much. I think it's super, super sweet. Let's have another look at Well, let's have another look at the mouse and just see a different alternative way of doing it. So this is done with free flowing and it is very, very sweet. This is Pam. Thank you, Pam. The last one was done by Vera. And there we've got a different way. So that's all of your Puddle Buddies all together, along with Monty Mouse and that free flowing with the rocks at the bottom. Always important to have those rolling rocks to give us that grounding device to make sense. But this actually uses many of the aspects. You've got some of the reeds and you've got the swallows as well. So you can see how bringing it all together with those perfect papers, everything blends, all your tonal quality is taken care of. And that's the joy of working with Carnation, because everything just blends and works together. Miss Sharon, are you ready for a demonstration?
I am. I'm ready.
There you go.
So to start with, we're going to make a square card. As before, I've used Carnation 350 GSM. I've cut 2 squares and then I've just scored about ½ inch from the top on the layer behind. And I've put some red line tape on there. And then because it's a square, this is going to be nice and easy, she says, to line up. I shouldn't say stuff like that because it's you know that the minute you say this will be really easy, you know it's going to go wrong.
Where it gets wonky.
Shouldn't say that on television, should I? Yeah, exactly.
I think it's rule number 1, isn't it?
And then I've used my lovely slate nesting dies with the perfect papers. So I've cut one of the squares from some blue perfect papers and I'm going to pop that on just with some double-sided tape. And then I've put 2 nesting dies next to each other with a bit of tape and run them through to give myself a frame. So we'll pop this blue on first, like so. And then I've created a frame so that it's going to look, now these will actually line up if you look at the corners. They are different in each corner, so there is a right way to put them. So that's going to sit there. Now I'm going to just glue in the corners because I want to keep this edge free in case as I build my scene I want to tuck anything behind it. So if I just put my glue in each corner, then I know if I need to tuck anything in I can. So if I just put some everyday glue in each corner.
Everyday glue and applicators can be found on the Carnation website as well. All your essential craft tools are all there. Just go and have a look, and also while you're there have a quick browse for today's deal of the day because it's on an epic deal.
Also, by using everyday glue it means I can wiggle this around to make sure I'm lined up perfectly. So that's my sort of frame for my scene, and because I've used blue it kind of looks like the sky in the background, so it's really going to look like a little scene. So I've got a few elements to play with. Let's bring them all in so you can see them. So I've got some florals, I've got the little steps, I've got free flowing, and I have got my little Monty here. We're going to have him jumping off these steps. So let's bring in a few other, we want to fill the space kind of thing. So I'm going to have a flower pot here. My little steps can go here. And the reason I haven't stuck this frame in is so that I can put stuff behind and over it and just play around with that. If I just glued it right down, it would look a bit odd because I'd either have to be sort of a little bit above it, and you would lose your grounding elements as such. So the way I can tuck everything in, it looks like you're looking into a frame basically. So I have got my ever useful rocks as well. Let's just put all these florals here. So the first thing I'm going to do is stick down this because this is kind of the centerpiece of this layout really. So we'll pop that in with some everyday glue. Just put some, you don't have to go mad with this. There we go. And I'm just going to slightly tuck that under the frame. There we go. So it looks like it's all going on in the frame. And this flower pot, I think I'm going to bring to the front slightly. So I'm going to have that over the edge of the frame, but I'm also going to shape it a little bit.
Give it a really nice perspective as well.
Yeah, it will, won't it? So, because it is quite a large pot, it's going to look quite good with a bit of shaping. So I'm just going to go around the edge to start.
Those of you who are brand new to Carnation, when you're using the Carnation dies, they have, we were talking about them in the earlier show, little pip marks in the dies which are designed for you to be able to cut and snip into. They also have cut lines that are sort of planned into the metal, and that allows you, once you've cut it onto your cardstock, to be able to shape them out in the way Sharon's just done there, simply using a ball tool. You can use your hand too for certain elements, and it just gives a little bit more freedom and a little bit more dimension on the front of the card, if you like. Brings them to life.
So I think I'm going to have my rocks kind of on top of the frame, like so, and I'm even going to go off the edge so that it extends the card beyond the frame. I think that's going to look quite nice. So I'll go in, because this isn't completely flat, I'm going to go in with a bit of pin flare. I'll pop that there. So it's got a nice flat edge here because I've snipped it, so that I can have it right up to the edge of the card. And then my steps are going to go on top of the rocks.
The yellow base underneath those rocks, it makes it look like it's sand. With this,
yeah, it does, doesn't it, in that colour?
Yeah. It's really pretty.
Yeah, sand and the sky looks like a lovely clear day, doesn't it?
Yeah. Those, again, this collection, because it goes with so many of your other collections that you've had in the past, this, again, Coastal Currents would be a really good one to use as well. We've got all those coastal elements. Really pretty, and especially with Monty Mouse there in his little swimming costume, he would be ideal for Coastal Currents as well.
Yes, I just think his costume is so sweet.
He could almost do with a monocle and a moustache.
So I'm going to have him jumping, but before I stick him down, I'm going to add a few more florals to this. And he's going to be in the front, so I'm going to do this before I pop him on. And I probably won't use all of these flowers because you have already got some on there. So I don't need too many. And the fact that this is stuck with pin flare means I can just lift this up if I want to and tuck that behind.
Pin flare's got to be one of the most forgiving things when you're crafting
it's
for allowing
brilliant,
you to move,
isn't it? Because you haven't got to commit. You can change your mind.
Carnation do sell pin flare, guys, at home. If ever any of you need any, it is on the Carnation website. Again, they do stock all of your essential craft items. So do go and check it out.
And I'm going to snip that down a little
For
bit.
those of you at home who haven't signed up to the Carnation Crafts newsletter, I honestly can't recommend it enough because it gives you a discount every month for 10% off the whole of the website, not just for the show price like you've got today. It does give you it for across the board. So please do go and sign up for the Carnation newsletter, and you'll get new information, but you'll also get that essential code every month.
I think we'll just have one pink one here. I'm going to tuck it behind the steps. There we go. And that's just filled out that area nicely. So Monty, I think we'll have him, because I've got all those flowers there, if I pop him here, he might get lost a little bit. Now I have got a matte layer that I could put him on, but actually if I have him more diving here, he's going to be just set against the blue, so you're going to see him really nicely. So I think we'll do that, but we need to give him a bit of shape because he's got a little round tummy, so he definitely wouldn't be flat, would he? Look at that little round belly in that swimming costume. So he's got to be plumped up a bit. So we'll pop some pin flower on him, and then we'll have him heading down into the water. There
Linda's just put, highly recommend signing up to the newsletter. I mean, it's money off everything, you know, you're getting 10%. It is so valuable. So please do sign up. Same as if you're on the YouTube. If you're watching on the YouTubes at the minute, just hit the subscribe button and the little bell next to it so that you get notifications when we're live. It doesn't cost to subscribe for I know a few people are concerned about that, but the other side to it as well is it's not like we would ever be going live at 4 in the morning or any time where it's going to disturb you. And obviously you can see when we're doing the shows on the Carnation Crafts calendar, which is now on the front page of the website.
There
Sharon,
we go.
that is so beautiful. That is so
It's
pretty.
a cute little scene, isn't it, with the snail watching him dive.
It's just absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? This whole collection's gorgeous. Have you enjoyed working with the different collections? Because you've worked with quite different ones.
Yes, I've had a really nice variety actually, haven't I?
Yeah.
I've had
all the different bits. It's
first,
nice, isn't it?
Yeah, the first one with the little woodland animals was probably one of my faves. I actually really loved as well because of the crystally ice bits, the handbags and the shoes.
Yeah, I think, and that's the thing. I think
winter.
that the joy of Carnation is just the diversity across the ranges. So there's something to craft for everybody. So you know, do get your other collections out, because they will go really well with Ponderance Place. So talking of Ponderance Place, it's on the CC website, and that is www.carnationcrafts.co.uk. Your number is 230101. It's got a best price show price today, £98.99. It won't stay at that price forever. It will go back to its original price, which is £144.92. So it's a whacking great big discount. But in order for you to be able to get that, you are going to need to use the code PPCC10. PPCC10, and you need to put that in capitals on the website. That's going to give you your discount, so please do use that to get it. There are options at checkout for you to pay in smaller chunks as well, so you can use PayPal Pay in 3, and you can use ClearPay as well, which is 4 payments. That breaks everything down for you. It's not the only treat that we've got for you. So today we have already discussed Ponderance Place. We have already discussed the perfect papers. But one thing we haven't gone into any detail with, and I would like to if possible, is your slate nested dies, your slate edge. They are absolutely stunning. So all we've got here is your set shapes. Now, Sharon will go through the boards with you in a second. But just to have a look at these a little bit, you've got your squares, your circles, your hearts, your ovals, your hexagons, your DLs, and your rectangles. That means no matter what card you decide to build, what card you decide to design, and in some of your home decor projects, your journaling and your scrapbooking, there's going to be a shape there for everything. Nested dies are just so important and so beautiful. But Carnation did go a step further with these. I'm just going to see if I can find this down here. So normally when you get your nested dies, you just get your standard nested dies and we cut it in the colours that we're doing. But because this is slate edge, they've given us 2 colourways for it. So there is a grey slate colour, and there is also a chalk white colour. And these go across the board for all of the nested dies that we're going to look at. But I will just show you the board for the circles with that colourway on it. Now I'll just pop it down. Am I okay to just put it in front, Miss Towers? There you go. It'll just give you a better view of that, just so you can see the detail that comes in the artwork that Carnation have provided for you. So it really does look realistic. You've got this beautiful slate. And as Sharon was just saying, with that card that was in the kind of shadow frame, the box frame, when you start putting these together, you can see there that grey and that white up. As you start to build those colours, they're just really striking and really, really beautiful. So with the artwork that Carnation have got, when you've got that pop of colour against that grey and that chalk white, they just look extraordinarily beautiful, as we're going to see. But Sharon's going to show you the boards for the nested. We'll go through them fairly quickly, but just so you've got a good idea of what you'll be getting when you get home. Today is the day to get them, because they're at £107.99 today. But if you're going to use that code, which is PPCC10, that's going to give you 10% discount. So that's where you get your best show price today, £107.99. If you don't put that in, you're going to end up paying £119.99. And if you don't buy them now and you decide to wait down the line, it's going to be £174.93. It makes no sense to wait that long while you've got it at the discounted price. If it's something that you want, today's the day to do it. Again, this would be free UK P&P. It would be the same for international as these, which is, it would be £4.95 for your shipping and handling. So everything is kept as low as possible. And the design and the artwork is again on the Carnation Crafts website for you, www.carnationcrafts.co.uk. But we'll have a look at the boards, Miss Sharon, and see what they look like.
Yes, first of all, I've got the hearts here in front of me. This one would be good for Valentine's coming up. I love the fact that you've got this lovely detail around the edge. I think the heart one is my favourite actually of the slate, because it just looks so nice when you create a frame from it.
I love the minis in the middle for tags.
Yeah, I love the way that the ones in the centre are smaller. So yeah, tags and sentiments, they're just perfect, aren't they? So that's your hearts. I'll let you do those.
Thank you.
They're so big, these boards. The height on them with all these layers is quite amazing. If I tip that, you can see there's some serious dimension here.
Huge dimension.
So these are the squares, very, very useful, these ones. Going down to a lovely, quite small one there. So Really, really pretty. I won't
Brilliant
go
for
into too much.
sentiments, aren't they? It's just good
Brilliant,
for stamping
yeah.
on and doing little elements as well. Little squares like you've seen there can start to be brought in to do windows, those kind of
Yes.
things, you know, cutting in, because we've got the nested, you can make the little aperture to make window frames, all of those elements too.
Yes, because it's not just about mats and layers, is it? With
No.
these, it's apertures and you know, with this DL one, you've
Borders.
basically got nice strips and borders, so you can be just using these independently as background pieces, perhaps with pattern cardstocks and things like that. So very, very useful. And I'm very much into slimline cards at the moment.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
love
know why.
DLs. There's something about them. I love the shape of a DL.
Circles, I don't think you can ever have too many circle dies. I've got hundreds of circle nesting dies and I still keep buying them because they're just the thing I reach for.
It's when you've got the edge in as well, and it's
Yeah,
something different. But it really does.
yeah.
I cannot get the idea out of my head that that's a summer hat.
It does look like a summer hat, doesn't it?
Yeah, from the top. It's just pretty, pretty, pretty.
Lovely. And then we've got our rectangles, very, very useful. And this centre one is just your absolute ideal sentiment strip for stamping onto. So those first sort of three I would say are ideal for your sentiments, and then you've got all your mats and layers, windows, apertures, whatever you want to use them for, with that lovely detail, and of course having the artwork as well.
Yeah,
is
and
an
the rectangle
bonus.
The rectangle is likely to be your most used out of all nested.
Yeah, I think so. Hexagons, I like a hexagon. It's just a bit different, isn't it? And it works quite well when you're building a scene, just to give a bit of interest.
It does. It's just got that different shape into it, and I love the fact that, I know this sounds like a ridiculous comment, but I love the 2 points at each side when you're working with hexagons. I think it just gives it that elongated visual, the aesthetic that's really pretty.
Yeah, you've kind of got a visual centre point, haven't you, with that? It does lend itself.
It makes composition very simple.
Yeah, you're right there. That one's upside down. And ovals, very, very useful. And I love the fact, as with the hearts, the centre ones are smaller, so they're perfectly sized for your sentiments. So ovals is another really useful one. Particularly, actually, I tend to use ovals a lot more on landscape than portrait. So just gives you more
for easels, because I think with easel cards, when you're using the ovals, they've just got this really kind of very elegant sort of stem on them. I mean, I love circles for easels as well, but there's something about an oval easel. They just look very, very beautiful. So yeah. Right, we are going to have another demo from Sharon. She's just getting herself ready. She did some amazing demos in the last show as well, so please do replay that back. It's on YouTube. All of the shows that we've done since we first launched this channel are all on the YouTube channel for you to get. There is a playlist that you can go and look, and it will take you through. So if ever you're missing a tutorial and there's something that you think, I wish I could remember how to make that, just go and look at the YouTube channel and it'll have all of those on there for you. There's actually at the moment 2 YouTube channels. There's Carnation Crafts TV, which is what you might be watching this on now. There is another one called Carnation Crafts as well, and demos are on there for your use. So Carnation will take you right through from beginning to end with all your education needs. We will make sure that your hand is held and that you know how to make all the different elements that we bring to you, because obviously we do a lot of card engineering with Carnation Crafts, which is always nice to have. But we are nearing the end sort of this day, if you like. This is the last show today. There is a composition show tomorrow, but that's it. Once that's gone, it's gone. So now's the time to be checking out. Now's the time to be getting this home. If you are checking out with this today, there is a good chance that you might get this tomorrow. If not, you'll definitely have it probably by Thursday. And that means you're already crafting and going. So start thinking of the ideas, how you're going to build your compositions, how you're going to make this work for you. You do need to go to the Carnation Crafts website to get your artwork, as we said. Start downloading that. Your backing papers are free, your inserts are free, and your artwork is free. And that's the same for those slate boards as well. Ponderance Place is on the website. The main number for it is 230101. It has a best price today of £98.99. It's a right bargain because the normal price for it is going to be £144.92. You've got to put in a code to get your best price. If you don't put in the code, you're not getting the best price. You'll be paying £109.99. If you want it for £98.99, you can get that today using the code PPCC10. But if you don't use that code, ain't going to give you the discount. So please do use it, PPCC10. And that's on the Carnation Crafts website. It's free UK PNP for international shipping, $4.95. Are you ready for a demo?
I am.
Let's do this thing.
I am. And we're going for a square card, but we're going to bring in the hearts. So as always, and I know we repeat this, but we've always got new people watching, and it's nice just to go through all of it rather than sort of jump ahead. So I've got 350 GSM Carnation card. I've cut a square or 2 squares, and then I've just put a score line on the back one. I can line this up on the edge of my mat, pop that down, and then that is my card base. Having 350 GSM is fantastic. I've not really come across 350 before. I've always used 300.
It's not that easy to get hold of, you know.
It's quite unusual, and it just does make all the difference, because once you start layering up, and particularly if you're using pin flare glue, which actually weighs quite a bit once it dries, it sets like concrete, doesn't it? So you do want a good sturdy card base that's not going to buckle under the weight of everything that you're adding to it. So 350, if you don't have it, I would certainly recommend popping that in your basket.
Again, Carnation Crafts website, if you've signed up to the newsletter, you'll have the code, so you can get 10% discount off your craft items, your craft store items, your glues, your applicators, your pin flare, your ball tools, your multimedia mat, all of the things, It's also worth noting while we're at this point, just to let you know that you can also get gift vouchers from the Carnation Crafts website as well, and they can be bought at any time and given to anyone at any time. I think, as far as I'm aware, Taz, am I right in saying that you can get a physical gift certificate or you can get a digital?
Yeah, so you can get an e-certificate.
So if we do have problems with mail, you can get an e-certificate, which is obviously a digital one. It will come through email, which is really useful. So if you're giving birthday gifts, or if it's your birthday this year and you want to tell a loved one, this is what I'd like, that's where you get them from, and it's all on the website for you.
So I'm really bringing in my perfect papers for this one. You've got 2 shades of green, and I've got this lovely cream. So I've gone with the light green, then cream, and then I've cut 2 of the hearts with the slate.
Beautiful. They look nice just like that, you know.
They're lovely, aren't they?
Just
I mean, just like
that
that.
with a sentiment on. Really
you could
pretty.
have a sentiment across there. Lovely.
Gorgeous.
These are just going to be your most used dies, I think. I'm going to nest them up, because this is going to be my little frame basically for my little elements. So I'm keeping this quite flat actually. I haven't put any 3D tape on this one.
Sometimes it's not needed. I think that's the thing. It's knowing when it's kind of a feeling you get, isn't it, when you're making the cards? I think everyone at home who's crafting knows probably exactly what I'm talking about, or possibly not, but that feeling that you get where you know where you want to be.
And I think when you've got flat layers, it's very, very optional. I can't help but add foam tape though when you've got filigree and things like that, because the shadow, I just feel you need it then, because you're wasting that lovely shadow.
Otherwise it's an opportunity gone, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've got my little house, and I've got some of my characters. I think because I've got this nice area here, I'm going to bring my birds in, because they just go perfectly, I think, in that corner. Got some rocks, those flowers are left over from before. So I thought this one's going to be quite simple, just with my 2 little friends with the house. And I'm going to pop the rocks in front. I've snipped into one just to give me a little bit of an extension, just so this is all going to fit. So I'll pop the birds on first, and then, as before, I'm going to layer up the roof of the house. Because I had those 2 where I'd put the little drops on them, so it'd be a shame not to use those. So I've snipped off. The one we used earlier had the glossy accents on. This one's got the little 3D drops on, so I thought it'd be a shame not to use that. So
they're so lifelike, those little drops.
They really bring it to life. I mean, the artwork's already amazing, so it's an obvious thing to enhance. So this is going to fit quite nicely there. I'm going to line up the top with the centre of that heart, because that kind of feels right to me. And then I can put my rocks kind of slightly to one side, I think. Like so. And then extend that. It looks a bit funny, I think, if you have any of the doors showing. So I'm going to line it up a bit like that, I think. And then he just naturally looks like he wants to sit on there. And then my snail can go this side. So let's stick the house down first. And
whenever you're doing composition at home, what Sharon was just doing there is just an incredibly valuable exercise. So piecing everything down so you can see where it wants to be. It's a really good point to take a photograph of how you've put it together, walk away from the element that you're creating and go and look at the photo. It will give you a different perspective on what you've done, and you'll be able to see how right it is before you stick anything down. It works every time. It's a really weird trick, but it does work every single time.
That is a really good point, actually. And I do that, actually, particularly if I've got a load of floral dies and I'm kind of creating like a bouquet. I quite often will do that, because you place them all down, think, yeah, that's right, but then you've got to remember it, don't you? So taking a photo with your phone is a really, really good idea.
But it also gives you a reference point at a later date if ever you want to remake the same card as well, because sometimes, especially for those of you who sell, you'll make one, you'll go to a craft fair and everybody wants that particular one that you've got. And obviously, if you haven't taken a photo of it, you can't reproduce. Whereas with this,
you've got to remember what you did. Exactly. So I need to be very strong with this. There we go. Let's pop that on. So I'm now addicted to layering up this roof. I don't think I'm ever going to make a card with this now without doing it, because the shadow that you get underneath.
Well, because Nick's already detailed shadow into it,
because he's already put some shadow there, you're like really enhancing it. So I don't think I'm going to be capable of using that house now without doing that. So let's pop our rocks on. These are just such an essential, because you can see this looks really odd here. It looks like this is just floating. So by placing my grounding just so, and I'm lining this up with the bottom there, and then I've got an extra little piece here just to extend that across, because you can see a little bit there of the frame and it looks a bit odd. And I'm going to put this with glue so I can kind of tuck it behind. Like so. There we go, so that just extends that. That's the beauty of the way these rocks are put together, because you can snip into them and you can extend, so whatever length you want you can get, because you can shorten or lengthen them however you need to. So we'll put our little snail coming in from this side, I think, here. There we go. So we'll have him just looking up at the house. His little face.
Lovingly.
He is. He has got a really cute. I think having the two of those facing together is a really nice composition with the heart, because he has got a real sort of sweet romantic look to him, hasn't he?
Bless him.
And then my little frog. I think I might have him kind of peeping out, actually. Yeah, let's have him peeking out, because he's got a bit of a cheeky face as well. Yeah, there we go. So let's pop that so you can have a good look.
Really, really sweet. It's lovely to see it being designed in different ways. We see that with the DT obviously as well, and then when we see all of your cards at home all coming together as well in the group, and we get to see all the different ways that you've designed with them. But what we're seeing here that Sharon's just done is using those simple elements to create something really cute, because it speaks for itself, doesn't it? The artwork gives us something really beautiful before we even start. So most simple sort of dimension of putting the house, a couple of rocks, you're there. You've got something extraordinary and something really beautiful. I will just mention the code for that again. Ponderance Place 230101, show price today of $98.99 with the code PPCC10. That has to be put in at checkout. But what I do want to talk to you about is a USB that was launched yesterday, and it's got over 1,400 backing papers on it. It's called Digital Dreamscapes. So it's not a cutting USB, it is a backing paper USB. So you're getting a whole library. 1,400 backing papers is a huge amount. You'll find it on the Carnation website 230131. It has a show price today of $24.99. If you do just get this, it's going to be $2.95 UK P&P. but it's incredible and you get so much on it. I would advise that you print this on Pro Print if you can, just because it's going to give you better colours. But I'll show you a couple of them. I won't go through all, but I will just pull them down here so you can see a couple of the papers you get, and I'll try and grab a hold of it better than I have got at the minute, but we'll flick through some. So there's some little thumbnails of some of the ones that you're getting. You can see as it comes through, look at that. I mean, this is not even a small portion of the amount that you're getting. You're getting so many on there. There's a ton of them for you to look at and to see. They go with a ton of the collections that you've already got sitting at home. I very nearly dropped all of those then. You can see the gorgeous colorways coming through, those beautiful artwork that's sitting at the bottom. These are going to be glorious. If you cut these, print them, sorry, on a lighter paper, you could use them as inserts for your cards too. Look at those. They're just so beautiful. So they are printed and shown as A5 for some of those, but obviously print them as A4, print them as A3. If you've got an A3 printer, you choose how you want to use them. That's your digital Dreamscapes. It's a USB. It's brand new yesterday. It is the show pick today. 230131, 24.99, 2.95 P and P. But I think we might have time for another demo.
Yay! We're going to do a different size card now, and that's what I like about having the elements, so you can make your own composition. It means you can make whatever size card you want because you can fill whatever space you need to. So this is kind of almost an A5 size actually.
I quite like working on bigger cards.
It's quite nice, isn't it? It's nice just to have a variety, I think, actually. I'm generally quite a small card person, so I'm quite enjoying really playing around a little bit with size and scale, and that's the beauty of these. So that's my card base, again from the 350 GSM, and I've cut, there's a lovely dark blue, this is the darker blue, perfect papers, and then I've done my matte and layers
just
for within the
china,
wreaths.
isn't it?
It's beautiful, isn't it? And this is just looks like such a clear blue summer sky in the background. So I'm going to pop that one on first, just with some double-sided tape. The colours of these perfect papers all together are just gorgeous, aren't they? They always
really
are.
Stunning, really stunning. Amanda says, absolutely smashing demos. Thank you all.
Ah, thank you. So we'll just pop that on. Almost straight. And then my layers. So the first one, I've put some of Carla's fabulous, very thick foam tape on.
How are you finding using it?
I'm loving it.
It's good fun, right? It just changes things
It's
up
nice
a little bit.
yeah, it gives it real proper chunkiness. And then just some, this one's going to go on flat. I don't think I need all of these off. There we go. And then that can pop on there perfectly. It's an odd looking shape before you put the reeds on.
I can see a face in it.
Yeah, it's until you put, it doesn't make sense until you bring in the reeds really. So I've done my reeds. I've done these single-sided because, which is unusual for me. Normally I just do everything double-sided anyway.
You just do me a massive favour, Sharon. If you turn that back around, so it's right. If you look at the reeds at the bottom, can you all just see the cut lines in it? That's what I was talking about. The detail that comes through from the dies from Carnation. Every single line that you see there has been done on purpose, and it allows you to sculpt and play. That's what's different about the Carnation dies, and we get asked that occasionally. You know, what makes it different? Well, that is the point of difference that we have. Is the level of detail that allows us to sculpt paper. So sorry, Sharon, I didn't mean to.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And when you look at the other side, that detail in the wood, that's what gives that realism, isn't it? It's those cut lines. So it's very unique, but it really does. The artwork in itself is stunning, but having a bit of dimension to it just is completely mind-blowing, really, actually. As someone that's used to working with just very flat dies as such,
it'll be interesting for you, won't it? Because it's like a different, it's like a change of pace almost.
Yeah, very different, and it's so nice to have beautiful artwork to go with it, because the work's almost been done for you. You haven't got to think about colours and where you know, you haven't got all the colours to think about, because you've already got your palette decided for you. and it's all designed to work together. You know, having the perfect papers where the colours have been taken from the artwork, you just can't go wrong.
Yeah. Thankfully for me.
Well, I could have a good attempt actually on some days, but you know.
It makes it easy to not go wrong.
Yeah, it does. It really does. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I'll have a good try.
I think, I mean, I love the fact that as a beginner, you can start with Carnation Craft and make something extraordinary for your first ever card. That's important.
Gosh, yeah, I wish something like this had been around when I started crafting
absolutely.
20 years ago.
I think the other
so
side
little
to it is
around.
you can be an incredibly technical card maker like Janine, and it
Yes.
still has a challenge there as well. So it doesn't really matter what level you are at all. You can always make something extraordinary.
Yes, that's a good point actually, because it's ideal for beginners, but it's not something you're going to outgrow.
Yeah, ever. No.
You're never going to think, oh, that I'm too advanced now for that, because you're never going to run out of ways to use it, to play with composition. You're always going to be stretched.
And I think if you're somebody who creates and you create cards, it means that you are inherently an artist. So you're never ever going to get fed up of using incredible artwork. You know, that's just goes hand in hand, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, the more collections you have, the more scope you've got, really, because you've got more things to play with. It's
especially when you see something like this, where Ponderance Place goes with, you know, umpteen different collections that you've got, you know, from the fun stuff down to the more serious. You'd be able to put this collection, parts of this collection, with pretty much any of the collections that you own, and that's incredible.
Yeah, you're just adding to your current collection every time you buy anything, aren't you?
Well, I always say with Carnation, you only ever buy one collection. You then buy bolt-ons, because everything goes with everything.
Yeah, that is very true. So I'm just adding some florals to give a bit of colour to the reeds. And the way these are designed, you can really pop these anywhere, because the stems of the florals kind of match the reeds. It doesn't matter that ends there, because you can't really see. So you haven't got to worry about the stems being long or short. Just put them where you want. They'll blend in so nicely with the reeds that it really doesn't matter.
It almost looks like they're going behind the reeds.
Yes, it does.
So it looks like it just sort of tucks in.
It does, doesn't it? So yeah, you can't really go wrong with this one. And then I think we'll have one a bit higher up here.
The yellows with those blues are incredible.
Yeah, against that, that really looks like a sky, doesn't it?
When you start to see the colour wheel working, it just brings it together, doesn't it, in a massive pop.
And I think we'll just have one kind of in the centre here. And then I'm going to bring in my little ducklings who are going to be swimming. So we'll pop that one just there. So I've got a nice kind of fan going on there. And then we'll pop one of these pink ones just to add a bit more pink. And of course, because these are all double-sided, you can have them curving. So I want it curved that way, but if I was putting it that side, I'd flip it and have it curving like so. So you're not limited as to where you can put these. They can go either way around. There we go. Stick all those down. I think that's enough for the florals. So I've got this lovely little sort of copper pan, which I'm going to pop here, just with some pin flare. There we go. And then I'm going to bring in two of my little ducklings, but we're going to give them a little bit of shape because I can't not look at them. They're so cute. So the beauty of the mirrored vignettes, if I put them like that, then they very obviously are the exact same. But by flipping one, then they look different, and it looks like you've got two different die cuts there, doesn't it?
It is so cute. Different heights as well. So if you face them and you do them at different heights, it also gives it a different aspect.
It gives the illusion of them being completely different, doesn't it? So again, all the cut lines are here. So as I run my ball tool round, I'm not going to crack the cardstock. Look at those, so sweet. So let's bring this back. And then they can be sitting in here. So this one's going to go slightly to the back. So I can even tuck him behind, I think just touching actually, so that he's like he's on the water. Their little faces, they're just so cute. And then we'll pop this one slightly forward, like so. There. Perfect.
Absolutely stunning.
Aren't they cute?
The colours are amazing. That is a beautiful demo. Oh, you are good, Sharon. Thank you so much. Look at that. Just beyond sweet.
They're very cute, aren't they?
This is Ponderance Place, and it is the new launch from Carnation. There's only one live show left. That's tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. So now's your chance to grab it, guys. It's 230101. The best price you can get that today, £98.99. It will revert to its normal price of £144.92. If, however, you don't put in the code that is available to you today, which is PPCC10, and that's in capitals, PPCC10, that will give you 10%, but if you don't put it in, it's going to cost you £109.99. So please do use it. And if you're just getting a pen so you can write that down, just to reiterate, PPCC10. And yeah, it's all there for you. Postage and packaging in the UK will be £2.95 if you're spending less than £50. If you're buying the full collection, you're going to get free P&P on that. Don't forget to put your perfect papers in, and please do consider those slate nested dies, because they're at an incredible price right now and they are absolutely beautiful. That's 230110. So as I said, we will be back with you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, and that will just be myself and Miss Tiztaz. It is a composition show. We will focus on your within the reed card shape. We will use the whole collection, but we will focus predominantly on this and how versatile it is, and we'll look at different ways of playing that. So I hope you can join me in the morning. Miss Sharon, massive thank you to you today. You are, as always, awesome. Thank you very much, Miss Taz, for doing the wonderful work that you do behind the camera as well. And to you guys at home, a massive thank you. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye.